Okay, we're out here in the garden. Beautiful. I just really enjoy eating these fresh vegetables. I'm going to share with you today a story that is beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful story. But I'm going to get out of this sun. It's kind of hot out here. Going to go over here where the boys are playing. They're having a great time. Grandkids. All right. Here we are. This is the grandkids out here. Some of them, they're staying with us for a couple of days. Went fishing yesterday, had a great time. Went 2 different places and everybody caught some fish. Lots of fun. This story comes out of the Bible. It's in John chapter 4. It's an amazing story. I've loved it all my life, which is 76 years. And it's amazing. Here was this woman. She was maybe she wasn't a prostitute. She was a adulterous woman, and she was living with a man at the time she wasn't married to. She'd had 5 husbands, and she was a Samaritan, which was a mixed breed. And the Samaritans and the Jews had conflict one with another, and the Samaritans felt like they were rejected, the downcast, and they were by the Jews. They were the minority group there. And so the Jews would never have any truck with the Samaritans. They would pass them by. Well, one day Jesus was passing through that area, and he stopped in a Samaritan town. And he was tired, so he sat down beside the well, and this woman walks up, wanting to draw some water from Jacob's well, which is still there, by the way. You can go over there today and drink water from Jacob's well, over 100 feet deep. And so he said, "Give me to drink." And she said, "I'm a woman, and I'm a Samaritan, and you're a Jew. Why are you asking me for something to drink?" So she was a little bit smart-mouthed, And he said, "Well, if you knew it was talking to you, and you asked me, I'd give you living water, and you drink it. It'll be inside of you, a well of water springing up unto everlasting life, and you'll never have to come here to drink again." And she said, "Okay, give me this water." And so, of course, she was still thinking of physical, natural water. And he said, "Okay, go call your husband." She said, "I have no husband." He said, "You said that correctly. You don't have a husband. You're living with a man, you're not married to him, and you had 5 husbands prior to this." She said, "I perceive you're a prophet." And of course he was. And so she said, but as a prophet of Israel, you say that Jerusalem's the place to worship, and we say Samaria is the place to worship. Now, which one is it? And people always want to get around to that in religious discussions, is what's the right religion? And Jesus said, neither. He said, God is seeking people to worship him in spirit and in truth. That's what he's doing. He's seeking people. I have news for you. God is seeking you today. He's seeking you to worship him in spirit and truth. Now, to worship God is not what you see on TV with these people having emotional experiences and acting kind of nutsy. Worship God is what you do when you're standing on a riverbank and you appreciate the Creator. Worship God's what you do when you go out at nighttime, you look up at the stars and you think, what a magnificent Creator we've got. Worshiping God is what you do when you take that little newborn baby, look into his eyes and you say, thank God for this little life. Worshiping God is when a man falls in love with a woman with a man, and they deeply love each other and they come together in sweet communion. That's worship. Worshiping God is delighting in him, delighting in his cause, his purpose, and wanting to be part of what he is for eternity. So God is seeking for you to worship him. Now, that doesn't involve a church. It doesn't involve religion. In fact, most of the people who go to church don't really worship God. Most of the people who participate in worship services don't really worship God. So I'm not asking you to be part of that. I'm just asking you where you are to open up your heart to God and say, God, I know that your son Jesus Christ came to give life, and I want that life. I know that when you died on the cross, you paid for my sins, and truly I have a lot of sins. And so I thank you for taking away my sins. And I thank you for your resurrection and giving me life where I'll drink of the water of life and never die. I just tell you, on a daily basis, I drink of the water of life. It is a sweet experience of the human spirit. And if you're with me, you wouldn't think anything was going on. It's nothing strange. It's nothing weird. It's just a consciousness of God's presence, of his love for me. of Jesus in my spirit. And it is just a sweet communion with God, a peace that caused me not to fear in these troubled times by any means whatsoever. So that's my message to you today. Look like the boys are getting ready to build something out here. The grandkids have turned this into sort of a playground here. They've got all kinds of stuff. Let me show you something over here that they built recently. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a castle or a fort or what it is, but they take the old dead logs and the rocks, and somebody built a tent out there. I guess you can see that. A different set of grandkids did that. So it's a playground for the grandkids. That's JD there. Okay, that's all for today.